The following podcast is an Enticing Media production.
Where the Nell have you been? Join us for conversation about life, business, and everything in between. Welcome to What the Nell, where we've got stories to tell. Here's your host, Nell Tice.
Chance of that happening. Of listening to you.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the What the Nell podcast with yours truly, Nell Tice. I have a very special guest with me today.
So creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy because we sound very similar. So
Apparently we look similar too.
So sometimes we sound alike because we're sisters.
Ooh.
So my sister is on the podcast with me today. Welcome, Jessica Burke.
Hi.
So if you can't tell the difference between us, because sometimes our laugh sounds very similar, sincere apologies. Anyway, so yeah, yesterday we were in line for coffee and the girl...
Shout out, Rise Up.
Little shout out to Rise Up Coffee on the Eastern Shore in Maryland. Best coffee on the Eastern Shore. So she was standing there looking at us and she goes, "Whoa, are you guys twins?" That was not the first time.
And
that has ever
immediately
happened.
I said, no, she's 3.5 years older than me.
Yeah, immediately she did. And then she was good. She clapped back. She was like, "Oh, I thought you were the older one."
I said, yeah, it's because I have children. Why
That's
it
true.
looks like
That's
that
what
way.
you said.
But they weren't with me.
No.
You can just see it in my wrinkles.
You can see your children in your face.
And my graying hair. Oh, did you see that they reposted your Instagram story or Facebook?
Yeah. A lot of companies do that to me.
I know, but that's pretty awesome that Rise Up did that.
Just
Like, I would
kidding.
feel really
They
good about
don't.
that.
Nobody ever does that.
And
to
then do
me.
you repost their reposting of your posts?
I mean, I can, but
I
like,
don't
where
like
do
when
you-
people do that.
Where do you cut off? Like, where's
I
the
know,
boundary?
because then it can just keep volleying back and forth, and that really irritates me when other people do
Okay,
that.
well, you have some experience in this area because you're doing a lot of social media right now for your work, and you happen to be wearing a shirt that says "People over Profit."
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, because to be honest, we didn't have a topic for this shindig until
You
about
mean sister shit?
5 seconds ago.
Well, it was yesterday, and that was Kenny's idea.
That's true. He titled this episode
Is that the remaining title?
"Sister Shit."
Yeah.
People over profit.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
I mean, no, we probably should call it that because that's kind of what we do here. We talk about a lot of like people and profits.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. No, so
What's
what
it worth?
what is people over profit? Like, why are you wearing a shirt that is like, what is this to you?
So,
No
well,
pressure.
the story behind the shirt is it was, I think she made this shirt actually. And one of my wonderful friends and colleagues that I work with gave it to me for Christmas. So not only is it a really nice color, but I like the saying because, you know, I work for a nonprofit and, you know, kind of care more about people than making money off of them.
What in this day and age?
Yeah, right.
I mean, my gosh. So, like, what does that mean? People over profit? Like, what is, like, is that the motto that you live by?
Yeah, I was actually probably going to say that's really what is most important to me. I mean, working for a nonprofit, you're constantly looking at ways that you can essentially run a business off of like nothing. So how can you do that when you're asking for people to donate their time or their money, which is, you know, really awkward and uncomfortable sometimes. But that's kind of like where my social media is heading, because that's constantly what we're doing is asking people to donate because we're trying to help, you know, victims and children. It's kind of some of the work that I do. But yeah, we care about making sure that kids have resources that they need, families have access to education, and just the awareness of things that are going on in the community that we can try to protect kids against.
Yeah. So, can you say where you work for or no?
Well,
Probably
I don't know
not.
if I should.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe people might be able to put it together at the end of this episode.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, it doesn't matter where, it's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been in this type of field for like over the past 10 years and recently just switched jobs in March, and I couldn't be happier.
Oh, good. That's nice. But I do know that outside of your normal daily duties, you have taken on more of a role in, let's say, the digital marketing side of things.
Yeah. With
So-
no experience at all.
Yeah. So what's that like?
Well, it's been a nice challenge because I'm learning to do something I didn't even know that I think I have an interest for.
Oh.
So basically someone else was managing the social media, which is really just Facebook and Instagram, but really like couldn't do as much with it because she just didn't honestly have the time for it. So and I kind of was saying, hey, do you want me to help you with any of that? She was like, absolutely, here you go. Like, let's come to my office right now. I'm going to give you all of the passwords to the account and here you go, do what you want with it. Basically, I mean, I don't do what I do what's appropriate, of course, but just, staying on brand and, get a lot of input from other people that I work with. Like, this would be a really great idea to, get some more engagement from followers and make sure that you're shouting out this company or this organization for supporting us. Like, so within certain parameters, but I do, come up with some good ideas myself.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I watched you put together a post for this entire weekend so far. That
Oh my
we're
God,
visiting
stop.
her. So, I mean, I'd say you definitely put your heart and soul into it.
I didn't say I was good at it. I said I just do it.
No. So, yeah, that's interesting. Well, all right.
Can you hear if I'm like gurgling water?
I mean, probably at some point, but it's fine. So I think that we should, I don't want to say preface because we're already more than 6 minutes into this, but we're sitting around your kitchen island. There's kids playing games at some points here in the house and people watching TV, and it's the holidays. So, we're in the center of the chaos. And so people might hear things like gurgling
my
water,
apologies.
video game, so I'm trying to figure out where else to go here. So really, this episode is coming out on Monday, January 1st. So happy New Year, people. Yay. Thanks for listening if you're listening on that day. But people are staring at us.
Just lurking in the background, staring us down.
So really, we just wanted to put together a little episode to kind of introduce you. Because the last time you did a podcast episode with Kenny and me, it was for
your
our
worst
podcast.
rated episode ever.
It was.
I'm very proud of it, by the way.
It truly was the worst rated episode. Because, so those of you who listen to What the Nell, I used to have a podcast. The first podcast I ever did was with my husband, Kenny. It was called Just the Two of Us. And it was about our
Dink life.
Dink life, yeah. Child-free life. And if Dink stands for double income, no kids. And we were like, oh, let's have my sister on and talk about motherhood and new motherhood. And then we ended up getting into your birthing story, which people shied away from. I heard several people say, yeah, I turned it off after you mentioned the placenta.
They were horrified.
They were horrified. And I was like, oh, yeah, we won't do that again. So I said on this one,
Stay away from it.
We're not going to tell your birthing story.
Don't even mention it anymore.
But if you want to listen to the episode and the podcast, you can head on over to your favorite platform, where you're at, and search Just the Two of Us with Kenny and Nell. It's a little old now. We stopped recording that in 2021. But anyway, so what else should people know about you? Don't look at me like...
I don't think anyone particularly has any cares about me, so I'm not sure. I'm a nobody, but
oh my gosh.
Well, I'm not famous like you.
I'm not famous. Shout out to my 86,000 downloads.
How many followers do you have on Facebook and Instagram?
Facebook 1.3 thousand. Instagram 300.
What? Can we talk about that? Why is it that Facebook gets more likes versus Instagram?
I think it depends on why you're there. So for me, like I focused on Facebook when I went full time with the business, because at the time that was where most of like the business audience was. And since Enticing Media basically works with like small businesses and not like consumers. So that's why I went to Facebook first. And Instagram always seemed like I know that I spend more time on Instagram now because that's a great place to show your work, because I view Instagram as more of the like creative platform because it's visual. It's visual centered with photos and videos and reels and things like that. And you can do that on Facebook, but I feel like Facebook is not quite as visually creatively centered.
Okay.
But I mean, everybody, like if you have a business, you should be on Facebook and Instagram.
I just don't understand why there's such a big difference in followers on each platform.
It depends like where you focus. I
Or
focused
it
a lot of my
depends
time
on-
on
It depends on your audience, because
That too.
Facebook is probably more older,
Oh, definitely. I mean,
all those old heads.
aka
get rid of them.
millennials. No, I mean, that's where I focused in the beginning, was in Facebook. So obviously where you put more of your attention to, that's where most of your growth is going to be. But Instagram has always been very weird for me. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like TikTok. I always did very well on TikTok, but for some reason, Instagram was just not the same. So Instagram, I get like 4 views on a reel one day. Then the next day I'll get 32. And then the next day it'll be like 500. And then the next day it'll be 0.
Yeah.
It's very like up and down, up and down. TikTok, and I do way different content on TikTok, but I posted a TikTok one time that was literally of Kenny doing laundry in the bathroom sink and like getting stains out of a shirt with like a concoction that he made. And I posted that video and it got like 2 views. And then a week later, it gained over 256,000 views.
And people were asking for the recipe. And
People are
everything?
asking for the recipe, and they were like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that." Oh, I don't understand why. Oh, there were so many different types of comments. There were people that like, "I don't understand. What is with people making their own shit? Just go buy stuff. You're gonna kill yourself with the fumes." And I was like, "Whoa, people, whoa!" Like, I mean, you don't know me, but like, I tend to not mix things with ammonia. So, and bleach and things like that. But they don't know that. So they're, and everybody has a voice and opinion. So they're gonna use it. But I get a lot of views on my TikToks when I do post.
Did you see that new TikTok thing that's going viral about it's a male and a female like doing like basically kind of doing, what is it called? They're like on their elbows.
Like an army crawl?
Well, what's that like exercise? The plank.
Like an army crawl?
If you're doing a plank and you're on your elbows and then like you're both going up like onto your elbows and putting your head in your hands, your chin in your hands,
Sounds like a lot.
and then you put one hand behind your back and then you put the other hand behind your back. Only females can do it. Men can't. They'll immediately fall over.
Wait. What?
So I think we should try it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So the first TikTok I think that I ever posted was of Kenny and I doing a like male-female challenge like that. So it was right in the beginning of COVID, and the trend was you had to have like a little table or stool or something in front of you. And you stood against the wall, like with your toes touching the baseboard, and then stepped back like 3 foot lengths and then bent over, put your forehead against the wall, and then tried to lift this stool to your chest and then pull yourself up. And I could do it, but Kenny couldn't do it.
Oh,
That was true.
just another way to show that women are superior.
Shout out to all of the genders.
Who runs the world? What?
All right. So yeah, we've got a little social media talk in there, people over profit. So how do you get paid if you're a nonprofit?
So I work under sort of an umbrella we're it's a bunch of different agencies and organizations that come together for victims of child abuse, and we're each hired and employed by our own entities and organizations. So I work for that overall team, and then I am employed by an individual organization, which is also a nonprofit as well.
Okay.
So I get to kind of represent both places, which is really nice. And so I get to, and the benefits to that is that we each bring our own resources and expertise to the table when we come together as that team. So, yeah.
All right. That's nice. I'm always very interested in how nonprofits profit.
Well,
But
they don't.
No, I mean
But
like
they gotta be in
not
the-
profit, but like how like the financials of nonprofits.
Yeah, I don't know that much
Yeah.
about that part. I can get you in touch with people that
It's
know
okay.
about that.
I mean,
It is. I understand. It is interesting.
yeah, it is. And I am on the board of directors for a nonprofit, and I've only ever we've had a few meetings, but not enough meetings where I understand the financials. Even it's like a small part of the meeting, but we're kind of like reorganizing right now, and then I'll probably get to be involved in more of like the actual process behind the nonprofit rather than just because when I came on board, it was like we were planning an event, and a lot of what I was doing was around the event planning. So I never really got too far into the like depths of the nonprofit.
Oh, I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you wish to share with the world?
How long have we been talking?
16 minutes and 37 seconds.
Wow, you're an underachiever.
Some would not agree with that.
We could talk about CBD.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't want to talk about CBD. Although, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting mild panic attacks at night. Like they call it nocturnal panic. When you're in that stage where you're falling asleep and you have that jolt. I think it's called like a hypernic jerk or something. And then it like wakes me up and it terrifies me, and then my heart starts racing, and then I feel like I'm gonna die.
Ooh, you should probably see somebody for that.
I probably should.
It's the same thing as like falling off a cliff feeling?
Yeah, it's like I would equate it to a roller coaster drop, but like not being prepared for it.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's really.
So what are you
exciting.
doing about that?
Well, looking into some CBD and things, but otherwise, I just
Can you go back to sleep afterwards?
yeah, but I'm usually like I have to wait until I get sleepy. So otherwise, because I just sit there and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I fall asleep, I might stop breathing. Yeah, it's weird. So yeah, you're right. Probably should see somebody about that. But anyway, that's another episode. So anyway, yeah. So I didn't want to take up too much of your time today. Just kind of wanted to jump on, get an episode out. And I was like, oh, she hasn't been on the podcast yet. So let's do it.
Oh, right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So come back anytime. And thanks everyone to listening to this very short and sweet episode. Just wanted to get you something going for the new year. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up on What the Nell. In February, we will celebrate our 100th episode.
Ooh.
Yes, and we are celebrating with an exclusive series called Don't Follow Me that I'm doing with What the Nell regular and favorite Steve Trott. So we'll be doing like the HBO Max thing where we drop a handful of episodes at once and then release separate episodes in the weeks following. So that's how we're celebrating. But I'm really excited about that because we're going in depth to like the science behind why people follow people on social media and what to expect from people you follow, your followers, things like that. So it'll be psychological in some sense of the way. So, all right. Well, thanks for being here. And thanks to everybody for listening. Happy New Year. We got more exciting episodes coming up for you. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.
Bye.
To learn more about how to tell your story, connect with Nell at enTICEingmedia.com. That's ENTICEING media.com. Thanks for listening to the What the Nell podcast.